Roughly 1/3 of the food produced in the world for human consumption every year, approximately 1.3 billion tons, gets lost or wasted. While those numbers may be staggering and possibly heartbreaking, there is a positive side to it. If disposed correctly, that food waste can become compost, which will hopefully be used to grow more edible products. Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan met up with a nonprofit in Greenfield to learn more.
Residents living in and around the downtown Greenfield area may have started to notice more and more of these white buckets at the ends of driveways over the past year. Since May of 2018, when the operation first got underway, it's had a bit of a crowd attracts a crowd effect, as not only residents, but local businesses have taken part in this pickup and delivery system. The operation is known as the Compost Cooperative, which, at its simplest, is a means of raising community awareness about the amount of food waste we create and what we as a society can do about it. In the past, we've looked at garbage and the methods used to reduce its carbon footprint. We also delved into the world of post-consumer recycling to see what's being done to get more reusable materials into the recycling stream. But food waste and composting materials, they've somehow managed to fly under the radar. But according to some alarming numbers, they shouldn't be. A recent USDA study showed that food waste is estimated to be somewhere between 30 and 40% of the entire United States food supply, or roughly 133 billion pounds of food annually. For the Compost Co-op, tackling this issue on the local level seems like a bold enough initiative to garner some headlines. But there's actually something even bigger at stake for them.
The impetus for this business, which was developed inside the Franklin County Jail, was to address the problem of people coming out of jail and not having any opportunity to get living wage work or to find a place to live, and this is what brings them back. So there's a sort of magnet pulling people back into the system.
Chandler's ride-along partner knows firsthand about that system, having been in and out of it since he was a teenager. Now, as an apprentice with the co-op, he's getting the chance to not only prove he's someone who shouldn't be shunned and feared by the public, but also an opportunity to become an owner in a company whose mission is rooted in his best interests.
I've made, a lot of mistakes in my time, and right now I'm trying to be the new person that I am. I've always had a good heart, and to find my niche into something that I'm passionate about. And this is something I'm passionate about, compost, not polluting the earth. If you see something on the ground, pick it up. Don't throw it on the ground. Don't be part of that problem. Be part of a solution.
Unless it gets thrown on the ground here, then it's perfectly okay. This is Martin's Farm, where food waste is the order of the day since they're the largest compost farm in all of western Massachusetts. Their location in Greenfield is a perfect fit for the co-op, who, in the grand scheme of this operation, are just a tiny cog.
They may be small, but their heart is huge. They're passionate as I am on making the difference, making that green choice, making the right choice with taking the organics out of the waste stream so they don't go into our Massachusetts landfills anymore. They have a wonderful heart, and it shows.
Big heart and good intentions aside, this is big business with big expensive equipment needed to keep it operational. But since October 1st, 2014, when Mass DEP banned the disposal of commercial organic waste to landfills by businesses and institutions that dispose of 1 ton or more of these materials per week, business has been good enough here to keep these fields full from January to December. These piles here are known as windrows, and they can be turned and replaced year-round. In fact, they get stockpiled over the winter months. It's the hot and dry summer months when they get screened and turned into sellable compost. So if the conditions are wet like they were in the summer of 2018 or even the spring of 2019, that can be a challenge for business around here.
When things are hot and dry, we're able to lay out compost that has gone through the whole process, and we're able to do our screening, which is the last step in the process. And when the compost is too wet because of abundance of rain, compost holds 5 times its weight in water, which is wonderful when you get it into your garden bed and into your soil. but through the process it makes it very difficult to screen.
And that screening process, under ideal conditions, produces a 1/4-inch compost, which should facilitate the gardening experience for those who purchase it. But as I walked across the farm, I couldn't help but draw comparisons between the activity here and what the compost co-op was attempting. While Martin's farm was taking in materials that would have otherwise ended up in a landfill and forgotten, and then giving them a new life as nutrient-rich soil for growing plants and vegetables, the co-op was taking in people who may well have been cast aside by society, and then giving them a chance to make new lives for themselves while also helping the environment.
This is an effort to interrupt the system and to sort of embrace the idea that everybody is worthwhile and that everybody can contribute, and people really want to contribute to their communities.